Hi, I'm Marianne Lesko, and this is my renovation story in Portland, Maine. My husband Bob and I have lived here since 2016. Let's go inside. For several years now, I have turned myself into an interior designer. Started in Massachusetts, and we were driving up to start working on this stained glass project, and I saw this house. And there was a for sale sign on the house, and I was like, I gotta get Robert up here fast.
She dragged me to see the house, and we parked out front. We didn't call a real estate agent or anything. We just came to look around. So we kind of
Snuck in
and was like, hello, hello. And all of a sudden we hear beep, 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 like that. And we go, oh my God, we set off the alarm. And we ran out of the house. And then the two of us realized it was
we stood in the backyard, and I was like, that sounded like a smoke detector. So we're like, come on, we're going back in. And it just felt good. As soon as we walked into this room, we knew we wanted to buy the house. But it didn't look like this when we first walked in this room. We had to paint.
Paint and a lot of patch.
The room we're sitting in was a very muddy, dark red. It just didn't do anything for me or the room. And I chose this color. It's a Farrow wall color called Brassica. It just made the molding pop. So this house has a history, and it's old. It was built in 1857. It was one of the first woman-owned houses in Portland. That's pretty exciting for me. It was one of the few homes that in this area, in this neighborhood, that survived the Great Fire of 1866.
Can't say we found any evidence of the fire.
No.
If you look at the pictures when this house was built, it was an empty field with a dirt road coming up to it. And then you look at the pictures after the fire, and it looks like it was returned exactly the same, except the hill is dotted with tents where people are living, everybody that lost their homes. And the only thing you see in the picture is this house.
Somewhere in the 60s, it turned into a boarding house. And we believe, from what we saw, it was a little chopped up. There was a bookcase that was not very sturdy, so that was one of the first things we did, was we removed that.
If someone has added something to the house that doesn't belong here, and it's also aesthetically unappealing, that's the first thing to go, right? That's just out.
If it was original, where it was there when the house was built, then it's staying, and I'm not going to touch it. We were very fortunate to have plaster molding here, but then I took the old chandeliers, which were not original, and decided to go modern.
This wall was a problem because I kept saying, my books are in storage. I have nowhere to put my books. And then you came up with a brilliant idea.
What I decided to do is, since the room really did seem imbalanced and all the light was coming from one side with these two windows, I worked with a furniture maker, Gabe Sutton. I told him I basically want to mirror the windows on the other side of the room, but let's make them bookcases.
So they came in and measured all the moldings on the window so that they could duplicate the exact molding. So they were all made by hand in his shop with custom blades to match the original moldings.
We looked at this room when we first saw it, and we said, we want this room to be our entertainment room. And so the first thing we did was get a very large couch. Around that, we found other places for seating. And it's become a really fun party room, whether it's 3 friends or 25. I also wanted to bring in, because of the period of the house and also because it's also trending, is bring in some wallpaper. And I thought the perfect place would be in the dining room. So this room was originally just a beige color. I just decided that it just needed some life. And I chose this wallpaper because, not that I'm necessarily in love with butterflies, but I thought the scale was right for this room. The longer I live with it, the more I like it. Like butterflies, I guess I should say. I decided to take a darker color extract it from the wallpaper and use it for the trim. I decided to pull out another color from the wallpaper, lighter, and put it on the ceiling. This was just a white ceiling, and it wasn't really showing off the woodwork. There was a time in my business where I would just take the trim color and just go through the whole house with it. Now I kind of look at it and I really want to take each room, and it doesn't really matter what the next room looks like. Something else will tie it in besides the trim color. Also like how I carried the wallpaper into the built-in cabinets. Obviously they are original, but I just thought it was a great way to update them. Just keep a flow going in the room. I've never had a round dining table, and then when I saw this table, I didn't realize it was a Lazy Susan, and neither does our guests when they come to dinner. It's a lot of fun when you have 6 or 8 people around this table, kind of like playing a game, you know? You gotta watch, make sure nobody's like grabbing something and you start turning the table and they have like the big fork in their hand, you know? I want people to feel comfortable when they come to the house. And a lot of times you go into a home that's done by a decorator and it looks like it's done by a decorator, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And I think there's enough personal things that we put around the house that people feel very comfortable.
We're good as a team because
He's more the technical guy or the practical guy that says, Marianne, you just can't do that. But and then I come in and work on the design and the materials and you know how I really want it to look. I mean, the thing we had to scrap as soon as possible was the upstairs bathroom. It was a bit of a
nightmare.
Yeah.
Because nobody wanted to touch the demolition work in the bathroom. I did the demolition work myself.
When we were doing the bathroom, Robert said, you're never gonna fit a tub in here because the original bathroom just had a shower stall, a sink, and a toilet. And so I was determined to find the right size tub that would fit in the room and have enough room to walk around the tub.
Determined as a light work. There was actually no way to get a cast iron tub up.
The door is it's not standard size.
Yeah,
so.
we found a pretty unique two-piece
tub
that you actually can carry up with 2 people and fit it together.
You know, there may be some stumbling blocks along the way, but I'm gonna get over them and get it done. So this room was probably the least appealing to me when we first bought the house, but I knew I wanted to make it our primary bedroom because it was at the back of the house and it'd be quieter. Just felt like I had to soften it up a little bit. This awkward step into, got a seat cushion made to fit the space. I love pillows, so there's a bunch of pillows on there. It's a nice place to just sit and relax or take a nap. The other thing I did was artwork, and large artwork, because it was a small room. And instead of doing a lot of small pieces, we went for the bigger pieces. This is a local artist, Kevin Hickey's, who's right here in Portland, and it just gives the room some color and some imagination. Probably because this was a boarding house in the 60s, I must have collected 6 different doorknobs just in the upstairs doors. So I decided I was going to do the same doorknob throughout the house. It's modern, but in a way it's still classic because you have the glass knob. So I just thought it worked with the house. This house became Bob and my house. Our children were grown up, they were out of our house. So instead of turning some of the rooms upstairs into typical guest rooms, we decided we were each going to take a room. And I chose this one because of the light that comes in, and I use it as my studio. I work here. I just wanted to make it a very calm place. So when I'm stressed working, I come in here and you can see the carpet. It looks like I'm walking along the beach somewhere in Maine. This couch here is just a lovely design because it basically pulls out like a futon, and then you have the wooden sides to it, which when it's turned into a bed, that looks like the headboard and that looks like the footboard. So it really turns into a lovely sleeping area, bedroom, when it has to be. When we first saw this room with nothing in it, the only thing you could notice was somebody decided to put baseboard heating all around the room.
Very inexpensive baseboard heat, and actually ran the copper pipes along the floor because they couldn't figure out how to put the pipes in the wall. So the heating pipes ran all around the perimeter. They even put it across the front of the fireplaces upstairs.
They decided, oh, we'll just take the piping and just go straight across the fireplace. So of course that had to go. And what we decided to do is really low profile radiators that are more European style, and they kind of disappear and they work really well too. We had a hard time finding a plumbing company, heating company that was familiar with these types of radiators. Bob and I somehow figured out how to attach it to the wall ourselves. Another tradesperson that kind of ran out of the house, he put one of the new heaters up and that was it.
That was
never
it.
came
We
back.
never saw him
and then
again.
we did the rest ourselves.
We went through 3 electricians who basically came in and started working and said, I'm sorry, I give up.
The first one just left.
They just left?
They just left. They never billed us
They never
for
billed us, they just-
the hours. They just like must have ran out of
Right,
here. We
yeah,
weren't home. They must
they
have just
left.
ran out of here like they saw ghosts.
Finding, you know, an electrician that is willing and interested to come up with the tools to work in an old house. And just finding those people and taking care of them because you want them to come back. Even to the, the people doing the yard now was, not an easy project.
This is the most recent of our renovations. The first thing we really had to do was design a fence. I didn't want it to be totally vertical boards going across, so I found this product, which is actually PVC, matched the wood. There was a wooden structure that was added onto the brick house, and it was
This stone wall was actually part of the foundation of that original structure.
So we had to repair it, but the last thing I wanted to do was I didn't want the fence to cover it. So we decided to put the fence above it, and then have basically there's sections of the fence, and they all kind of work with what's in front of them. Then came the fun part where I worked with a local landscaper. We just love coming out here now. We feel like it's a little paradise in a little city. Apparently,
This is a historic wall, which is, at least according to the Historic Commission, more historically important than the house.
yeah, it's the oldest wall in Portland, Maine.
We've always liked this kind of property, and we feel a little bit like we're curators. It's the same when you collect things, right? You're really holding them to pass them on to somebody else, and that's how we always felt about the properties as well.
Well, I hate the word eclectic, but I have to say I like the best of both worlds. I like modern and I like older things, antiques, vintage.
I am absolutely amazed at where we live. I am. I come home every night and I go like, wow, it's a pretty cool place. I like it here. When I have people come here and they walk into this room and go, whoa, that's what I do. So then I know we've done something. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
And subscribe to HGTV for more renovation stories.